So I'm gonna do this session of FreeCodeCamp now. I think I'll do this for one more day, and I will study the playwright thing with Scrapey off stream. And I also realized that I was researching last night, and I realized that they actually provided the DevDocs site is actually hosted by FreeCodeCamp. I think it's hosted and maintained by FreeCodeCamp, and they actually provide something so you can download the documents using Ruby. So I might do that, download the documents directly, but I still think it's worth it to try to do it with Scrapey and Playwright just to learn those tools. Shit, they don't seem that they are really hard to use so far from what I've seen. And I think if I get to this part, then I'm gonna have to stop this because if I remember, this part will require me to log into the sites which are database or I think servers. So and then you need to create secret files, and I'm not sure if I can do this on stream. Maybe I can just block the screen while I do it, but yeah. We'll see. So I'm gonna put the timer. I think I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna put it future. Might stop earlier than that. And I already took a look at this one, first one, just to see if it would be completed because I'm using the same links, but apparently it's not. So I think here it goes the auto name, but I'm not sure. And then they say it should run like this. Yeah. Barbican beginning. I think it's this link right here. So it did run successfully. This is probably the place that I'm putting the author name. Doesn't make sense to be on the dependencies or in the main. Not neither any scripts or repositories. At least in my mind. Maybe I'm putting, maybe it should be, but this file didn't exist before. I think it's, or am I blind? I think this file showed up after I ran the first time. Yeah, they say it's on the package.json file. I should change. Sometimes is the connection. Yeah. It's probably something on their backend. Add a description to our package.json. The next part of a good package.json file is the description field, where a short but informative description about your project belongs. If someday you plan to publish, so add a description to the package.json file of your project. Yeah, these first challenges are probably not that important actually. I think I can do them on the same as well. Maybe the ones that I'm thinking about were in another section of security. I remember I did something with Passport to validate users, I think. But I think it might be on the other section. So, and I think that one was, there was a lot of stuff to do, and I don't remember really well all the steps that should be done. So maybe I should do that as well. If it isn't in here, should skip the Mongo stuff and do that one. The keywords field is where you can describe your project using related keywords. Here's an example. As you can see, the field is structured as an array of double-quoted strings. Add an array of suitable strings to the keywords field in the package.json file of your project. The keywords should be FreeCodeCamp. And see the way they just so I copy exactly like they are asking for. The license field is where you inform users of what they are allowed to do with your project. With the license field, same shit. Here, I think though all of those challenges could be just one challenge. To be honest. Version. Now I think this one is in a different section. Uh, maybe it's in the same one. Oops. I think it makes sense to put it in here, but yeah, this is probably the packages, dependencies, versions. So it doesn't make any difference. Add a version 3.4 of the moment package. So now it comes, yeah. Add version 2.14 of the moment package to the dependencies field. Moment is a handy library for working with time and dates. So the dependencies come here, I think. And then I don't remember really well, but I think either this or this is gonna determine what the version exactly is or something like that. One of the biggest reasons to use a package manager is their powerful dependency management. Instead of manually having to make sure that you get all dependencies whenever you set up a project on your computer, npm automatically installs everything for you. But how can an NPM know exactly? I think it's coming up on the next challenge. It's probably not this one. The major version should increment, which will make you compatible. Minor. Oh, so yeah, this is the explanation of the numbers in relationship to the version. Versions of the npm packages in the dependencies section of your package.json file follow what's called semantic versioning. An industry standard for software versioning aiming to make it easier to manage dependencies. Libraries, frameworks, or the tools published on npm should use semver in order to clearly communicate what kind of changes projects can expect if they update. Knowing semver can be useful when you develop software that uses external dependencies, which you almost always do. One day, your understanding of these numbers will save you from accidentally introducing breaking changes to your project without understanding why things that worked yesterday suddenly don't work today. This is how semantic versioning works according to the official website. The major version should increment when you make incompatible API changes. The minor version should increment when you add functionality in a backwards compatible manner. The patch version should increment when you make backwards compatible bug fixes. This means that patches are bug fixes and minors add new features, but neither of them break what worked before. Finally, majors add changes that won't work with further versions. I think I'm gonna print this because it's important to remember. Package standard description. Maybe it's better to put standard. In the dependency section of your package.json file, change the version of moment to match major version 2 to 210. Sure. And now it's not running. Maybe because it breaks. Package operation failed. So what do I do now? Maybe I'll try to pass it with the 14, but then it's probably not gonna work. I think this test doesn't work anymore. They probably should change, but no matching version found for moment. Good point. Down. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Could be as well. But I find it difficult to believe that I'm doing something wrong when it's just changing a number here. The big issue here, I think I'm just gonna skip this one. Because otherwise, I'm gonna have to probably make this on Git, make this on my own computer, push to GitHub, and then it's too much work for. I don't think it's worth it. So which one is this? Manage npm dependencies. The last challenge told npm should only include a specific version of a package. That's a useful way to freeze your dependencies if you need to make sure that different parts of your project stay compatible with each other. But in most use cases, you don't want to miss bug fixes since they often include important security patches and hopefully don't break things in doing so. To allow an npm dependency to update to the latest patch version, you can prefix the dependencies version with the tilde. I think it's tilde. The way that I'm supposed to say this character. Here's an example of how to allow updates to any 1.3x version. Yeah, so this is any one of the packages, including the first two numbers. The package.json file, your current file for how npm may upgrade moment is to use a specific version 2.10.2, but now you want to allow the latest 2.10x version. Use the tilde character to prefix the version of moments in your dependencies and allow npm to update it to any new patch release. The version numbers themselves should not be changed. So let's see if it works when I do it like this. Or it's also deprecated, I think is the word. Now it works. Nice. So it means that that 2.10 version is deprecated, but other patches not still work. Hmm. So maybe I was doing something wrong. Or maybe it's just the delay. Can't be this version here because otherwise it would fail previous tests. It can't be that I'm doing it in the wrong place because you wouldn't pass the first test. So I don't see what's off here. I think it's more likely that it's a problem with the FreeCodeCamp testing than maybe they have it on the hint. Yeah, there's no solution. Kind of tired today, I don't know why. think I'm gonna pass this one then. It's working fine here. I think it's probably some issue with the FreeCodeCamp testing, or something changed with these packages that they tell you to use, and then the backend wasn't updated. The FreeCodeCamp backend. And I'm not sure. Maybe I should allow them. Uh, maybe I should make a suggestion there. But then I have to log in. And I'm not really confident that that's the case, or I'm missing something. It looks like I did everything right, but you never know. So the next one is this one. Similar to how the tilde we learned about in the last challenge allows npm to install the latest patch for a dependency, the caret allows npm to install futures updates as well. The difference is that the caret will allow both minor updates and patches. The caret allow minor updates and patches. Your current version of Moment should be 2.10, which allows npm to install the latest 2.10 X version. If you choose caret as a version prefix instead, npm would allow to update to any 2.x version. This would allow updates to any 1.xx version of the package. Yeah, so that's good to know. So the caret is any version. Maybe I should write this down somewhere. Because if, oh, now it works. So it was a problem with the other. Uh, so I think I might go back actually and make a suggestion there so they can look at it. Because if other people are gonna do this, they might spend a bunch of time in these challenges. And when they're doing nothing wrong. So let's see if we can sign up with this. Ah. Thing is, I'm not sure if I remember my password. Mm. I think I'll do this off stream. Just so I don't risk leaking anything. I have now tested a few ways you can manage dependencies to a project by using the package.json dependencies section. I've also included external packages by adding them to the file and even told npm what type of versions you want. By using special characters such as tilde or the card. I think I'm gonna write it down actually. Uh, couldn't find a better word there, but I guess this way is good. What if you want to remove an external package that you no longer need? Might already have guessed it. Just remove the corresponding key value pair for that package from your dependencies. The same method applies to removing other fields in your package.json as well. Remove the moment package from your dependencies. Make sure you have the right amount of commas. I thought it wouldn't matter if I left the comma there, even though there's only one package. Oh, uh, I think that this is the next portion of the challenges. Working on these challenges will involve you writing your code using one of the following methods. When you're done, make sure a working demo of your project is hosted somewhere public. During the development process, it's important to check. Note this is just a JavaScript environment. Like client-side JavaScript, you can use the console to display useful debug information. On a local machine, you would see console output in the terminal. Right-click a terminal is open in the right panel by default. Recommend to keep the terminal open while working on these challenges. But by reading the output in the terminal, you can see any errors that may occur. Modify the myapp.js file to log hello world to the console. So myapp.js, yeah. So now let's wait. The first lines of the file myapp.js, you can see how easy it is to create an Express app object. This object has several methods, and you'll learn many of them in these challenges. One fundamental method is app.listenPart. It tells you your server to listen on a given part, putting it in running state. For testing reasons, we need the app to be running in the background, so we added this method, the server.js file for you. So yeah, it's this one. App.use. Let's serve our first string. Express routes takes the following structure: app.method, path, handler. Method is an HTTP method in lowercase. Path is a relative path on the server, can be a string or even a regular expression. Handler is a function that Express calls when the route is matched. Handlers take the form of the form function request res, where rec is the request object and res is the response object. We'll serve the string response string. So I also have to search JavaScript arrow notation because I forgot how to declare the name of the function. Let's just do it like this. Yeah, but what if I wanna have a name so I can call the function? Yeah, so make Bob then equals then. Use the app.get method to serve the string hello express to get requests matching the root path. So I assume it's here. I'm gonna use app.get, which is this object here, express, then rec, ras. Theoretical code works by looking at the logs, then see the results in the preview, queries and Replit. Note all the code for this lesson should be added in between the few lines of code we have started you off with, which is this one and the other ones. Mm. There's probably so rec is the request and res is the response. If I remember. But I don't remember really well. I had trouble with understanding what each one is. So I'm using get, I'm getting the root. Or maybe they want me to just do console.log without the function. Or res.send instead of console.log. Ah, now it works. Yeah, so res is the response, rec is the request. So I guess when you use rec is the thing you're, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Because a get request is a request, you're getting information from the server. So I guess use rec to specify how to get that information. Then use res to, but how can you send things if you're using the get method. You can respond to requests with a file using the ras.sendFile path method. You put it inside the app.get route handler. Behind the scenes, this method will set the appropriate headers to instruct your browser on how to handle the file you want to send. According to its type, then it will read and send the file. This method needs an absolute file path. Recommend that you use node global variable to your name to calculate the path like this. Send the views index.html file as a response to GET requests to the root path. If you view your live app, you should see a big HTML heading and a form. Note you can edit the solution with a challenge or create a new one. Create a new solution, keep in mind that Express evaluates routes from the top to bottom and executes the handler for the first match. You have to comment out the preceding solution or the server will keep responding with the string. So I should do that absolute path equals your name plus string here. And then ras.send absolute path. See if this works. So I think I can erase this. So at least the path is correct, but it's not. So maybe I can use rack instead. Yeah, doesn't make sense, true. Make rack dot send. Oh, it's telling me just send the information. Yeah, res.send file. That's what I should be doing. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So I think that's another question I have. What are the methods that I can use? And what exactly are the requests and the res in this function? So maybe FreeCodeCamp is not going to be best to answer these questions. An HTML server usually has one or more directories that are accessible by the user. You can place there the static assets needed by your application, style sheets, scripts, images. In Express, you can put in place this functionality using the middleware express.static path, where the path parameter is the absolute path of the folder containing the assets. If you don't know what middleware is, don't worry, we'll discuss in detail later. Basically, middleware are functions that intercept route handlers, adding some kind of information. Middleware needs to be mounted using the method app.use path middleware function. Yes, so what are I I think I understand what route handlers are, but which is pretty much the route path or the paths pretty much. But I'm not really sure if I know exactly the visualization of how it works. Middleware needs to be mounted using the method app.use path middleware function. The first path argument is optional. If you don't pass it, the middleware will be executed for all requests. It also intercepts the methods, from what I understand. Mount the express.static middleware to the path public with app.use. The absolute path to the assets folder is dir name plus public. Now your app should be able to serve a CSS style sheet. Note that the public styles.css file is referenced in the views project boilerplate. So mount the express static middleware to the path public. Oh, so I should use app.use. And I'm gonna do this. Can I do directly there? Your name plus public static dot express. Express dot static. Now let's see if this works. Yes, it's probably this. It's not working. If I make it like this. Yeah, it doesn't work. Thing is, I don't wanna create another variable outside there. But I think I have to. It doesn't feel like it should make any sense to work with the variable outside and not the expression. But maybe that's what's the problem there. So I have the path and the middleware function. Let me just try. If I make a variable instead. Nossa. Yeah. Because it's not changing anything. So maybe is the middleware function that is not correct? Maybe I shouldn't call it. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It works, but it didn't change anything. What if I put this here instead? Still doesn't change anything. So I have a feeling that it's not going to be correct. Yeah. Oh, I need to put the path. So mount express middleware to the path public with app.use. Now I'm not sure if I should use the same path on both. Or not. So maybe I should use the root path in the first one. Not sure if it matters whether or not I use this before or after this get method. And it shouldn't be changing this page. This is the root one. If I'm doing it on public, I'm not sure. Let's see. It's probably not gonna have. Oh, it does have something. Hmm. I should do public here. So why does it? I guess when you use these methods, it already takes the URL. Yeah, that's what why I'm confused. Because the first one is for the URL stuff, not the file. Yeah, the first is for the URL and the second is for the file, the path. I think the explanation is a little bit confusing. Serving static web pages and assets is fairly simple with Express. This could be useful for building your own portfolio, website, or blog, single page web applications, etc. To serve static assets from the public folder, you can use the express.static method as the middleware. This method takes the endpoint and the absolute path to the directory containing the static assets as arguments and exposes the files in that folder at the given endpoint. By default, if the endpoint is not passed to the method, the folder is exposed at the root endpoint for the application. Their name variable is a string containing the absolute path to the root of your project, which has to be concatenated with the folder containing the assets. Are the following lines your code? Yeah, now I think I understand it. While an HTML server serves HTML, an API serves data. REST, representational state transfer API, allows data exchange in a simple way. So representational state transfer. Without the need for clients to know any detail about the server. The client only needs to know where the resource is, the URL, the action and the action it wants to perform on it, the verb. The get verb is used when you're fetching some information without modifying anything. These days, the preferred data format for moving information around the web is JSON. Simply put, JSON is a convenient way to represent a JavaScript object as a string so it can be easily transmitted. Let's create a simple API by creating a route that responds with JSON at the path JSON. You can do it as usual with the app.get method. Inside the route handler, use the method res.json, passing in an object as an argument. Inside the route handler is the method res.json. So first is app.get JSON. Then rack res. Res.json. Passing an object. This method closes the request response loop, returning the data. Behind the scenes, it converts a valid JavaScript object into a string. Then sets the appropriate headers to tell your browser that you're serving JSON, and sends the data back. A valid object has the usual structure. Key data. It can be a number, a string, a nested object, or an array. Data can also be a variable or the result of a function call, in which case it will be evaluated before being converted into a string. Serve the object message hello JSON as a response in JSON format. To get requests to the JSON route. Then point your browser to your app URL/JSON. You should see the message on the screen. Yeah, but now here, I think I'm just gonna test and not see. Because I can't type slash here. Maybe if I... Yeah, whatever. Just gonna test it like this. So it's not working. So I should use res.json on this route. Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe if I open it here, it works. No, it is working. So what's the issue here? Maybe it's that I'm sending with the curly braces, but then it doesn't work. So what's the problem? Maybe just the link that doesn't work, or I should do the normal link. Yeah, there we go. The env file is a hidden file that is used to pass environment variables to your application. This file is secret, no one but you can access it, and it can be used to store data that you want to keep private or hidden. For example, you can store API keys from external services or your database your URI. You can also use it to store configuration options. Setting configuration options, you can change the behavior of your application without the need to rewrite some code. The environment variables are accessible from the app as process.env.parent. Process.env object is a global node object, and variables are passed as strings. By convention, the variable names are all uppercase, with words separated by an underscore. The .env is a shell file, so you don't need to wrap names or values in quotes. It is also important to note that there cannot be space around the equals sign when you're assigning values to your variables. So like this. Usually you will put each variable definition on a separate line. Let's add an environment variable as a configuration option. Create.env file in the root of your project directory and start the variable message style uppercase in it. So I remember there's something, yeah, here. So I think the key is message style. So I'm not sure about this, but yeah. So I should put this at the top here. Then the JSON get route handler, you create in the last challenge to send the response object's message to uppercase. If process.env.message style equals uppercase, the response object should either be message hello JSON or message hello JSON depending on the message style value. So I can do if message style class.json. Not sure if that's how they want me to do it, but hmm. If you're using Replit, you cannot create a .env file. Instead, use the built-in secret style to add the variable. If you're working locally, you need the .env package. So npm install.env. Then at the top of your my.app.js file, import and load variables. Load the variables with require.env.config. So maybe the environment variable that I'm using is incorrect. It should be like this. Uppercase. Maybe I have to make it equal to uppercase. It doesn't feel like it should have any difference. But might as well try anyway. Just to see if it works. The JSON get route handler you create in the last challenge for showing the response objects message to uppercase. If process.env.message style equals uppercase. Response object should either be message hello JSON or message hello, depending on the message style value. Oh, I get. I'm doing wrong. Now it should be correct. And I can erase this actually, I think. It still not doesn't work. So apparently I don't need to do this response JSON stuff. I don't understand why though, if it works. Yeah. There are different ways that I can achieve the same thing, but it doesn't make any sense if that works. I don't think that changing the way that I'm transforming it to uppercase is gonna change anything. Let's see the Git stuff. Try the FCC Express background package in your package.js. So. Yeah, I think it's correct. So what's the problem here? Maybe it's no, it's not a typo. Oh, maybe it is. No, it isn't. And there's another way that I can see if it works or not. Uppercase is not defined. So maybe the way that I'm doing the keys is wrong. I should probably do message styles equals this. Now it's gonna work. So let's see. Still. Oh, so here. I could do message dot style dot message style, I think. To access the uppercase variable. There we go. Now it should work. Still doesn't work. No, it's working here, so. Yeah, but if I change to a different value, dot message style equals. Or maybe I can do it on strings as well. And then I don't need this dot message style. No. Yeah. The endpoint works, but it's not giving me the correct response. I don't understand what's the problem here. It doesn't work. If I just do this, then it's gonna. But then if I change the value, it's not. It's gonna still give me. Then just show upper C. It's still gonna be caps lock, so. Which is not what the exercise is intended to do. So I think the question is how to access this variable. Let me change the name of this to message. Because I want to understand how the files are related. You have to search for how to access environment variables, how to access variables inside of environment variables. I think I'm doing this the wrong way. Actually, uh, I think here I should put the value. The thing is that I think Replit environment variables work differently than when you're doing it on your own. And I remember doing them for the last time on my own on the computer. So it's a different structure, I think. The computer creates only one environment variable, only one file, and then you put all the environment variables there, and then you access them directly. But I think here, what you do is you create the key and the value, and then you access the key instead, and each key has one value. So this might be the issue here. But if it works like this, then yeah, then if I put uppercase here to match this, then I think it should work. Hopefully. Yeah, so now it's caps lock. At least it's working. So let me change this and see if it works. It should be lowercase. There we go. So now I think it's correct. Yeah, I don't see the reason why it's not passing, but it should be. It is working with the, at least with the tasks here, it works. Maybe I need to put slash JSON here. Yeah, I have no idea why it's not working. So maybe we just pass this task and go to the next one. Because it seems fine here, so. Yeah, but if I take this off, then it's gonna be uppercase for any value I have there. Maybe they want me to put the string here and the variable outside and then make it sure uppercase, but just don't see the point. Yeah, like they did here. I think I'm gonna go to the next one. Use the file. Is this one. Let me see how much time I have. I think I'm gonna stop here actually, because I'm more in the mood to do scrapey and playwright than to study this. And then maybe I'll already after today I might already start trying to build a site on stream after I study playwright today, because it seems like it's gonna be better, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I might just continue this tomorrow. We'll see. But I think I'm done for today. Might come back later as well to do the site stuff. So yeah. See ya.